Hi guys, thanks for following my blog. I'm here with Dwight Woods in Miami from Unified Martial Art Academy. And for those of you who don't know, Dwight is my longtime friend and martial art teacher. But the big deal is
we're also born on the same day.
The big deal is besides the fact that he keeps telling me that, and in case I forgot, Sifu spent countless hours interviewing our martial art instructors and legends in our field. So I stopped off in Miami to meet with some of my friends like Phil Hulsher in the sport community, and I thought who better to ask about how to run an interview properly than my good friend Dwight Woods. So for everyone who doesn't know you out there, why don't you let us know a little bit about yourself, Sifu?
Okay, well, I'm Dwight Woods, as Vit said, and I've been a Jeet Kune instructor since 1983. I think I'm the most senior Florida student of Dan Inosanto, who is famous in the martial art world as Bruce Lee's premier disciple. As Vit said, I've spent a fair amount of time being on both sides of the interview, the microphone, so to speak, asking people questions. And as a matter of fact, I have an interview coming up on Wednesday where I'll be the interviewee.
Sweet.
But I've done a lot, but I'm not really an expert as such.
Well, it's good to have you because I need all the help I can get right now, because the project that I took on is getting bigger and bigger since I started. And as you know, the most popular breed in the world, having been a friend of mine, you remember my German Shepherds and stuff.
Oh yes,
right.
I remember your German.
So
yes.
There are so many different facets, much like martial art. There are so many different facets of German Shepherd as a breed.
Right, which was actually, I don't know if you and I ever discussed this, but that was actually one of the most fascinating things when you introduced me to the world of the German Shepherd world. I watched what you would do, and to me it was Jeet Kune.
Right.
It was simple stuff, it was direct, and it was effective.
Right. Well, thank you for that compliment.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's the same because you have a lot of law enforcement community.
Yeah.
And I deal with the law enforcement with the canine sometimes, and it's very similar. In fact, my followers will know about Ivan Balabanov, who's I think you remember Ivan from Tampa.
Yeah, I remember.
Foremost trainer and competitor in sport. And Ivan's a fan of martial art, and he always talks about how similar, the competition stuff in the dog community is with the Jeet Kune and martial art and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess in a nutshell, so that I can hit this on the head, what makes, in your experience, what makes for a good interview?
Well, I recently asked almost an identical question to my marketing mentor, Dan Kennedy, and he talked about, well, you should do some kind of preparation, for any interview, even if it's going to be an informal thing like this. Right? You should do some kind of but I think that in the dog world, it's okay to call it the dog world.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
It's fine.
I think that to me it's fascinating, and I'm not even, I'm not remotely invested in it. And I think it's full of colorful characters, both the canine aspect and the human aspect.
Definitely.
And I think that what would probably be most fascinating for your viewers is to hear all the wonderful stories, that all of these people who are passionately involved in this art, because it is an art, to hear the fascinating stories, stories of how they got to be in it. When I did, I guess we could compare projects. When my teacher Dan Inosanto turned 70 years old 3 years ago, I did a similar project, which started out quite small. I had this idea. I would ask all of my counterparts, people who are certified in Jeet Kune by Dan Inosanto. I would ask them to send me the story of how they came to meet him
Right, I remember
to
this,
start
yeah.
training under him, and how eventually, you know, they got certified as instructors, and that's how it started. That was the first thing I thought of. And then when I was getting those emails, I thought, you know, let me make this a little bit more interesting. So I said, well, now tell me the most important life lesson, so to speak, that you've learned from Sifu Inosanto, and then also tell me your favorite your favorite Dan Inosanto anecdote.
Right.
So this project, and you'll appreciate this. This project that started as a little email idea
Exactly.
ended up like a 200-page book.
Right.
Right. With photographs.
That's exactly it. That's exactly where we are.
But I wasn't as sophisticated as Vit is. I didn't have a video blog and that kind of stuff. I didn't chronicle the whole event. You know, I think it probably took me about a month, and then, you know, I formatted everybody's email into a PDF document, and then printed it, and then flew out to California to give it to him, and that.
I remember. It was something extraordinary. So I mean, this is when I thought about talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because having visited Miami for all this other dog stuff, I said, you know, let me come into town and figure out what's going on, because you've done something like this before, and I think exactly like what you were saying is what I hope to bring is the human story.
That's it. Because that's what I asked my colleagues for.
Right.
You know, give me the story of how you came to meet Dan Inosanto. Now, we are all the same. We're all Jeet Kune students and Jeet Kune instructors under Dan Inosanto. But every person has a unique story.
Exactly.
Right. So that really is the essence.
Right.
So when as you talk with these guys, I mean, I'm not even in the dog world, but I would be excited to see the project as it you know goes along. The story, you know, of how they came to be and what it means to them.
Okay.
I think that.
Well, excellent. Because I'm glad that we're on the same page. Now, the last question I have for you, which I think is and I'm going to be honest with all of my viewers here, is the community in the German Shepherd world is very diverse. And much like martial art, everybody has a very heartfelt connection to their point of view and so forth.
Okay.
And this year is I think I told you 110 years anniversary of the breed. So I'm going to be at the Sieger show, at the herding trials. I'm going to be at the Bundesliga and the World Championship, where I compete at the World Championships on behalf of Trinidad.
Okay.
But so that's my minuscule effort in satisfying everyone. But that's my question, basically. How do I satisfy everyone who has, you know, different breeders that they like, and I only have a limited time, you know. How many, you know, how am I going to ask all of the questions that everybody wants to know? And basically, how do I satisfy everyone?
Well, you know, an idea that comes to mind is, if you could, on your blog, do some kind of survey, asking your viewers, what do you want to know?
Okay.
Who do you want most to hear from? I don't know. It's when there is a project that I'm working on, again similar to this, which will involve monthly interviews of Jeet Kune personalities. So I already have a list of who's the top guy that everybody wants to hear from. You know, what is the question that they would like to know most? That kind of thing. So that might be something you want to do. Just do an informal survey of your people, and then you'll know exactly what it is to deliver. You'll know exactly who to talk to and what to get from them.
Excellent. I think, Sifu Dwight, you trained me well, because everything you're saying, I think we're on the right track, because we actually just put a list together of all of the kennels and the breeders and competitors and trainers that have not just worked, that I've been in touch with, but that everyone else has said, you know, this is someone that we want to speak with. So it seems like we're on the right track, and I think I really enjoyed this time with you, and I think just before, once I have all my info compiled, I think we're going to do this again. And so maybe you could take another look at our progress level and give us, you know, something. But thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you soon.